Will Smith apologizes to Chris Rock after the Oscar slap. I was out of line. I was waiting for this because I didn't consider the apology to the Academy to be adequate if this was in fact not a conspiracy.
How many days in a row have you guys had to cover this?
Only 2.
Okay.
Although
it did happen 2 days ago.
Even when we did it, I started the topic. I'm like, I don't want to cover this. I was like, look, I acknowledge that I am not one of today's great thinkers or orators or speaker. I am nothing special. I will not be able to add any type of context to this that other people won't be able to, but you have to cover it because
I think you can. I think the whole premise of the show is that you're a slightly different perspective.
My perspective is that it was weird that Chris Rock like weirdly leaned in. I don't think it was staged. I think he was like half like trapped by like his feeling like
he had no idea how to react to it.
We're going to cover one of the things in this. I pulled up a bunch of articles relating to this, but we'll get through it. It says, Will Smith has apologized at length to Chris Rock on Instagram after storming the stage and slapping the comedian in the face of the 2022 Oscars. Rock made a joke at the expense of Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, and her shaved head, which some took in poor taste, as Pinkett Smith recently revealed she's been living with alopecia. Smith, there's also a fantastic song by a group named Y. It's a Minnesota rap, and it's a rap artist called Alopecia. Just if anybody wants to go listen to it. See, that is my...
But then tell them how you got there.
That is my unique contribution to this topic. That she's been living with alopecia. Smith slapped Rock in the face before promptly walking off the stage and telling Rock to keep Pinkett Smith's name out of his effing mouth. My favorite was the cover of the movie Hitch, but it turned it into bitch. And it says, keep my wife's name out your effing mouth underneath. The memes, the internet has worked overtime in the last 2 days.
We want to know 2 of my favorite ones?
Yes.
There's some like food delivery company that immediately use the like above Chris Rock, like our prices, and then like food delivery prices, and then it was like them being most specifically us, and like, you can get this much off. And then Fashion Nova, which is this like, some people hate it because it's kind of a fashion brand, and like Kylie Jenner's promoted it, whatever. They immediately at like 10:20 a.m. next morning sent out a bunch of marketing texts that were like, we slapped 40% off the site, but you can rock spring fashion.
See, the internet.
It was like they do not rest, this marketing department.
There's a fantastic meme it's a meme of a guy who of like a job application, like a guy's like searching Indeed, and it's just the job application on there. It says meme, like a company was hiring a meme maker for $80K a year.
Yeah,
and somebody said, don't you dare let your parents tell you to give up on your dreams.
Yeah,
you could one day be making memes about Chris Rock and Will Smith. And that would be that. And you're making $80K a year.
In some ways too, it's like breaking news. Like people had to start making those immediately.
Yeah, right away. My favorite was just a simple one. It was Jada Pinkett Smith, Chris Rock, and Will Smith. And it just says paper and then rock, scissors.
That's funny.
That was a very simple one that I thought was very... There was also a great one that said G.I. Jane, and it's got Zelensky in the background with a Ukrainian flag, and then Jada Pinkett Smith in the front. And it's taken from the cover of G.I. Jane. The memes have been absolutely every like subculture that I'm a part of has turned them into their own versions of it.
So okay, what's your take on this? Like, was it wrong for him to storm the stage and slap him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where was the joke? Like
that, I think that the right thing to do would have been to call him out backstage in private afterwards, and that you're a public figure, and to expect to go to a ceremony where jokes will be made and expect to not have jokes made about you, or that you get some special treatment as to what jokes get told about you. Because remember, one of the things I covered yesterday was there was a joke made earlier by Regina King, I think is her last name, where she made like an open marriage joke that he found uncomfortable, and Jada thought it was hilarious. So turnabout is fair play, right?
Yeah, I think that I'm kind of tired of every award show host having the same thing, which is like essentially making fun of people in the audience.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's just kind of stale. I think you're right. Like, he should have just like not laughed on screen, and then like he could have during the ceremony tweeted like, I thought that was really inappropriate.
And I would have still made fun of him for it because I had some like grow thicker skin. But...
See, I don't know. Like, he feels like he has to come to his wife's defense. Like, people are really sensitive about...
It's embarrassing that I'm sorry. It's embarrassing that he's still coming to his wife's defense.
Their whole marriage is weird.
Yes.
But in principle, he's her husband, we think.
He laughed at the joke first, and then he saw her face, and then he stormed up on stage.
Like, if we were taking other people, like, I do think it's like kind of an inappropriate joke to make. Like, you know, maybe you should have thicker skin. He gets to make it anyways. But yeah, like, I would not like it if someone made fun of like a skin condition like that, because it can just be so.
I understand. I acknowledge that it's that especially for women, where hair is a very important part of their physical, more so than men.
You like lose your eyebrows, yes, you lose your eyelashes. Like, it's really severe.
I understand.
I just like, I don't really understand why we're still talking about this days later. I was interested in some of the conversations around like, wasn't it weird that like this guy can just assault someone on stage and then win an award?
Well, that's what I'm saying. He, like, that's what we'll talk about, because the Academy has not made. But I do think that
like, yeah, this was like it wasn't even like that funny of a joke. You know what I mean? Like, it's a cheap shot. You know, I think it's I don't think there's anything wrong with Will calling him out, but like, yeah, storming the stage and then us all being like, okay, proceed on with the show.
Expecting that nothing will happen to you is ridiculous.
But nothing did happen to him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But knowing that was going to happen just proves to you how different they are. Remember, celebrities, they're just like us. No. Police didn't need any type of cooperation from Chris Rock to prosecute in this case, but you know they're not going to.
Yeah.
He's a celebrity in a town where I'm sure most of the police are told to be very careful and look the other way when it comes to celebrities, because there's I'm sure a lot of them give to the police unions. So it is what it is. But then there's also this. It says, after Will Smith's slap incident, TikTok of Jada Pinkett Smith talking about her hair and not giving two craps about what people say goes viral.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying. And
now, saying that is different than actually meaning it. You know, that there's bravado in that.
Yeah, I also think that like, just because you don't care doesn't mean you give people license to like openly mock it, right?
It's like going to a comedy show, and if you're part of the especially in this. Now, I would like to know if this joke was whether they do rehearsals, right? So was this joke saved?
And they were like, that's a good one. You should do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's a joke, as far as I can tell, wasn't even that funny. I just, again, like, I would like a history of an award shows. Were they always, like, weird stand-up comedy shows where you just, like, make fun of people in the audience? I think sometimes Hollywood does this where, like, we're making fun of our own celebrities.
That's what they should be doing.
No, I think that I don't.
No, they don't do it well anymore.
No, I totally disagree. I think it's a weird cop-out for them to be like, look how humble we are. We make fun of our own big stars. And it's like, shut up. I don't like you guys anyway.
Mean tweets was the greatest thing they ever could have done for themselves when they'd go on Kimmel and do mean tweets. But then they would start, like, clapping back at Joe Schmo.
This is not like mean tweets. This is like someone being paid by the industry to make the industry look humble by making fun of other people that the industry pays. Like,
then my problem is that they just don't do it well.
They should just stop doing it, is my point.
What would you put in place of it?
Why can't we just have someone who talks about something interesting, or like not the same kind of humor, which is like, I'm going to make a snide remark about this comedian. Oh, snide remark about that comedian or actor. Snide remark about that performer. Like, it's the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And it's not very funny. Award shows do not get good views. Like, maybe you should shake up your whole premise, because this whoever's hosting them is clearly not drawing people in.
Yep. So, and then going to multiple hosts, they don't have the star power that they used to. But I'm going to read the apology. So it says, violence in all its forms is poisonous and destructive. My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable. Jokes at my expense are part of the job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear. I reacted emotionally. Again, I point to the fact that he was laughing and then looked at her face. And then
I don't know. Like, that's like when I'm like, oh, I kind of have respect for you. Like, he is sort of cuckish in a lot of ways from what we know about their marriage. But like, yeah, if she was uncomfortable and he defended her, like, I think that's a generally good thing. I don't know that he should have slapped this guy on stage, but like, I think the instinct to look out for his wife is a good one.
I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong. I'm embarrassed, and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There's no place for violence in the world of love and kindness. I'm assuming that he also apologized to him in person. People were saying that they squashed the beef backstage. But the Academy condemns and opens formal review of Oscar's slap, condemns its violence.
Did you see his mom release a statement that was like, Will has never had an outburst like this before?
Never in his life.
No. There's no way that's true.
People were like, on set, he's never done anything like that. I'm like,
idea.
yeah, I don't believe that. That's not to say that that makes him a bad person. It's normal to be angry at times. Yeah. People get angry. But it says, so they're opening a formal review. So I was like, it's going to be funny because you know who's going to end up getting in trouble? The poor security guards who didn't stop him from coming on stage. Like, I want to see a movie made about like, okay, so if some security guard who was working the front line there on his wing of the auditorium gets fired and then has a big redemption arc where he makes it back and becomes like head of a security firm, and then gouges the Oscars when he starts a company because he now runs a security company.
The Oscars are gone by the time he does that.
Yes. So it says the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences isn't dropping Sunday night's Oscar incident with Will Smith and Chris Rock, opening a formal review of what went down and further condemning Will's actions. I did find did you see Jim Carrey was like, what bothered him was the standing ovation he got after he won. Mm-hmm. That was interesting.
Everyone and their brother is offering their perspective on this.
It's very interesting.
Didn't Jim Carrey say he would sue for $200 million?
I would too.
That was one of the
actually,
reactions.
I wouldn't. But I'm sure to me, it's one of those things where he gets tied up in court and both of them have so much money, it just ends up nobody makes money but lawyers. Mm-hmm. So this is what we'll finish this topic on. Chris Rock face pad claim goes viral online as slow motion video of Will Smith slapped to stage accusations. I don't think it was staged. To people in this office, a couple of them think it might have been staged. I don't know what that is on his face. If that's just wrinkles, if it's just lines there. The picture
That's not wrinkles, honey.
The picture has obviously been manipulated. If you look at the color palette down there, so contrast and stuff have been jacked up.
Oh, they think it's like padding.
They think
so
it's like
if
a
you hit
padding.
him in the cheek, it would like hurt less.
Likely, the more realistic thing to do would be to bite down on something to prevent that from happening. But it says, as the infamous Will Smith slap moment during the Academy Awards continues to trend online, netizens have begun to speculate the scene was staged. A high-resolution picture of the controversial moment has gone viral on social media and shows comedian Chris Rock wearing a cheek pad on his face to soften the blow. I don't know if that's what that is. What, Miracle, you say it's not wrinkles. What is it?
It looks so weird, like how you said it does look like they contort it because it doesn't match like the bottom skin tone unless like he didn't put his makeup right.
So what is that?
feel like
for the people who are listening to the podcast, it's a picture on screen where they've zoomed in very far in his high resolution.
Yeah, it's a close-up on Chris Rock's face where he is sort of smiling, maybe sort of wincing.
Yeah.
And on his right side, there looks like there under his eye, like all along his cheekbone, is some kind of skin pad. I honestly don't know. The defining characteristic to me is that there's like a black line that curves in towards his nose and out back towards maybe his ear.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It makes me wonder if he actually has tape on his face to like hold a headset or mic in place and it's somehow distorted by like the movement of his face.
Could be.
You know how people will do that? Like they'll tape, he's on stage presenting, so he's got an earphone and stuff in.
Yeah, he would. It would normally, and it would be in that ear normally, but I can't see if it's in the ear on the right side, on the left side, or no, it would be his right, or it would be his left. Yeah,
I mean, it might be whatever preference is.
It could be a piece. I'm not sure if that's what that is. If it's if it's like skin toned tape, but the viral picture online right after the King Richard actor issued a public apology on Instagram. So they talk about it down here, and people go into detail about whether they think it was. It says Chris Rock was outfitted with a prosthetic cheek pad. This was staged.
Also, like, would a prosthetic cheek pad really do that much of a difference?
Could be a material that makes it louder.
Okay.
Rubber
to the conspiracy.
Rubber.
I also wonder too, like, if it was a joke by now, like if it was staged, like I think by now we're on day 2 of this staying in the media cycle.
A worker
it's not
would've
slowing down. Chris Rock or Will Smith would have insisted they come out and be like, if they're opening an investigation into him, someone would have been like, no, this was a joke. We did it for the like whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, but then there's like this weird thing where like I do love the idea that there is now like a Vince McMahon-ish figure behind the Oscars who's turning it into pro wrestling, kind of like wrestling had kayfabe in the 90s where or in the 90s and the 80s and before, where before people got savvy, nobody knew what was real and what wasn't. Good guys were never allowed to travel to arenas with bad guys because it would destroy the illusion of the show. So now there needs to be a thing where Chris Rock's like, hey man, can I get a ride in your limo to the Oscars next year? And Will Smith's like, no man, we gotta arrive separate, otherwise people will know that that we're not beefing. I love that. It goes into the social media age where you really don't know what is real and what isn't. Most of the viral clips you see, there's so many viral clips that you see that end up being hoaxes.
I just feel like this is all sort of a weird distraction from other more serious news that's going on. Like, I feel like we're becoming fixated on this. Maybe it's because Americans want a relief, and there's so much like in the news and geopolitically that they don't understand that is extremely complicated. That this is like, yeah, Will Smith is the bad guy. He slapped him in the face. That it feels more simple. But I honestly, like, in some ways, I'm wary to give this story so much attention.
I know.
I'm not blaming you. Like, there are so many people reacting to it, and there is an interesting conversation around, like, you know, they broadcasted an assault and then carried on having that broadcast live. Like,
and then he got a standing
really
ovation
interesting,
after.
Right?
Yep.
On the other hand, like, it's just that this narrative is staying around for so long, and like every media outlet is like looking for someone to comment on it. It makes me wonder, like, why are you obsessed with this?
I do think it's a statement on just how fast our news cycle moves, that 2 days is now considered like, oh my God, it's been around forever.
2 days for something like this. Like, we're not talking about anything else that happened at that award show still. We're only talking about this. Well, to be fair, it was really dramatic, but...
Actually, we're about to talk about more of that right now. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.